Alright, so I have my CorkSport short shifter in already. So I'm gonna do some measurements, just like I did with the Craven Speed short shifter and the stock short shifter. I mean stock shifter. I mean the stock shifter. So let me measure the height first. The stock height on here, I'm gonna relate it to this fat spot on the bezel here, to the top of here. The stock one and the Craven Speed one are the same height. I think it was, if I can remember right, it was 2.5 inches. I think I might have said 3.5 inches before, but it was actually 2.5 inches here to here from stock and also the Craven Speed. So this CorkSport one, let's see how tall that is. Okay. So this one is, oh, it's not that much difference. It looks like it is about 2 3/4. So it's only a 1/4 inch. Seems like it's only a 1/4 inch higher. So that's hardly anything at all. 1/4 inch is like not, that's probably not even noticeable. 1/4 inch taller. So the lever here being longer will give you more, slightly more leverage, right? But also the shift point from the fulcrum to the little bulb there. So let's look at the stock shifter here. So stock shifter here. So basically everything pivots around this big ball here, and this small ball here is what pushes the transmission parts to change the gears, right? So this distance here, the shorter this distance is, basically compared to where your handle is over here, this distance to here, that's the shorter this distance is. Basically you have and give at a, let's say your handle length here is the top end length here, let's say it's the same length. Let's say this is the same length for everything. So if this distance is shorter, that means you basically have more leverage. So it's easy for you to shift. If this length is longer, then you will have less leverage. So basically, as far as how much input, as you shift around, how much input, it requires more effort basically. So you have less leverage if this is longer. So that's how the short shifters work. Short shifters, this length here is a little bit longer. So that way when this length is longer, whatever you move here, this moves a lot. This moves more because it's longer. So that way this end over here doesn't move as much. Whereas with the stock shifter, this end is a little bit shorter. So it has to move more, or this end has to move more for this end to move at a given distance. Right? So there's that, but also the length here, if this length is also longer, you have more leverage as well. So it should be slightly easier for you to shift. So the CorkSport, being a 1/4 inch taller, it should, in theory, it should give you a little bit more leverage, but in practice, that 1/4 inch is so small that it might not be noticeable. But the CorkSport, the length here is not that much longer than the stock is. The stock is going to be the shortest one. The CorkSport is going to be a little bit longer, and the Craven Speed is even a little bit longer. Right? So basically, I think CorkSport says their shifter that throws, or I think they said it was 14% shorter throws than the stock, whereas the Craven Speed says it's 30% shorter throws than the stock. And I know the stock, and I measured it. The stock is 1.5 inch. The Craven Speed is about an inch or just over an inch. So let's see how the CorkSport one is. So let's see, the CorkSport one is, let me start out at neutral, and at center being 3. Okay, so that's 3 right there. So let's go up. So that's basically looks like an inch and not quite an inch and a 1/4. It's like 1 inch and 3/16. So not that much. Yeah, 3/16. So it's not that much more than the. It's actually closer. It seems like that's closer to the Craven speed than stock is, because stock is 1.5 inches, and the Craven speed I think is about an inch, maybe give or take a 1/16 of an inch, but about an inch. So this is actually closer to the Craven speed than the stock is in its throws. But when I'm actually shifting, I just give a test run. When I'm actually shifting, it feels a lot more throw than the Craven speed does. It feels it actually feels closer to stock as far as the throw length. It feels closer to stock than the Craven speed does. Excuse me, what am I saying? The CorkSport throw feels like it's closer to the stock than it does closer to the Craven speed. So, but according to this measurement, it's actually closer to the Craven speed than it is the stock. So that's I guess what I'm trying to say, if I said that properly or not. So that's 6, same thing. I'm shooting 5th, 6, same thing. It looks like, yeah, it's somewhere between 3/30 seconds and it's like almost one getting to 1/4 inch. Let's try on the first gear. Yeah, about the same, about that, or maybe almost a 1/4 inch. So let's look at this direction. Let's see if I always have a hard time holding this thing still, going in this side to side direction. So from neutral, that's 3/4 of an inch. I think that's about how much all the other ones were too, about 3/4 of an inch, side to side. So there you have it. So that's the measurement. So this height from the bezel, flat spot in the bezel to the top is 3 3/4, compared to the stock and the Craven speed is 2 3/4. The Craven speed and stock is 2.5. So this is a 1/4 inch longer. And the throws are not that much more than the Craven speed. It's closer to the Craven speed than it is the stock throws, and then in the actual measurement. But as far as how I feel, just me shifting, it feels closer to stock than it is to the Craven speed. So I just drove it earlier, and I have 3 shims in here. That's what they recommend, 3 shims. And start out with 3 shims, and you go from there. And I drove it around the block, and I actually like it. It was with 3 shims. It feels like you need more, more input, more pressure to shift than say stock, but you need less than the Craven speed. And it feels very close to my steering input requirement, pressure on steering. So I might just leave it at 3. I mean, I need to drive this thing for about 1,000 miles before it fully breaks in, and it feels very notchy, very notchy, very mechanical. So I like that. It still has that notchy mechanical feel that the Craven speed has, unlike the stock where it feels kind of vague, because everything's all the parts here. You look at the stock one, all this parts here is all plastic. The only thing that's not plastic is, let's see, this part right here is not plastic. This to the ball is not plastic, but even the slot, this is plastic. Everything's plastic, so you don't have a very good feel. It's like everything feels so vague. And you don't have that mechanical feel. Whereas with this, you definitely have that mechanical feel. That very mechanical, notchy feel in it. And I really like that. I really like that sensation. That's pretty. That's a little bit. The input feels a little bit firmer than stock, but less than firmer than stock, but less than the Craven speed. So actually, I'm a big fan of that. So it feels very similar to my steering input. All right, so that's about it with that. So I'm gonna call it good for now. I'm gonna drive this thing for about 1,000 miles, and I will come back and do a review on on how it feels afterwards, just like I did with the Craven Speed one. But if this is, you know, the throw, again, the throw feels very similar to stock throws. So if you're more into shorter throws, you know, I would recommend it, you know, just right now anyways, I would recommend a Craven Speed. But if you if the shorter throws isn't as important, where you're more into the feel of the shifter and you want the shifter to feel, you know, the shifter input requirement, effort, how much effort input to shift, if you want that to feel very similar to the amount of effort that's needed to turn the steering wheel, then I think the CorkSport's the way to go. Yeah, alright, thanks for watching.